Alright, so moving on to the final segment, I'll be sharing my thoughts on the Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo happening in the next few weeks in the sport of boxing. Which fighter is under the most pressure to succeed on September 30th in the sport of boxing when Canelo Alvarez and Jermell Charlo fight each other in the next few weeks? So, before I get into my take on that, I do believe that this will be a great fight between two elite fighters. This will be the first time that we will be seeing two undisputed champions in two different weight classes fighting each other at the exact same time that they are undisputed. I do find it petty that the sport of boxing is actually promoting this to be two undisputed champions. They are at the moment, but when that fight happens, the minute that Jermell Charlo steps in that ring, he's going to be stripped of the WBO title at the 154-pound division. Unfortunately, by not fulfilling his not fighting his mandatory Tim Tszyu, who he was supposed to fight all the way back in January, a bigger opportunity arose, and Jermell Charlo just decided to step up two weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez for an undisputed championship fight. And that is the reason why he's being stripped of that WBO title at 154 pounds. But with that being said, I do believe that Canelo Alvarez is under the most pressure to succeed when him and Jermell Charlo fight on September 30th. Now, the world of boxing is already questioning what does Canelo Alvarez have left in his gas tank. Is Canelo Alvarez still the king of boxing? Is he still the face of boxing, I should say? A lot of people have different perspectives of who they believe is the face of boxing. A lot of people believe Gervonta Tank Davis is the new king in the sport of boxing. He is the face of boxing. A lot of other people will say different options as well, but a lot of question marks are now being questioned. Is Canelo Alvarez still the king in the sport of boxing? Is he still the face of the sport of boxing? And his last three performances did not look good. Like I just said in the last segment about Frank Martin, I just said that one outing does not your previous outing will not make me question you. When you have 2 to 3 questionable outings, it makes me question you as a fighter. And I'm questioning myself about Canelo Alvarez here. His last 3 outings, his last 3 performances were not the Canelo Alvarez that we all know and love in this sport of boxing. You take it back all the way to May of 2022 when he got absolutely dominated, dismantled by Dimitri Bivol. Give him credit. He did step up to 175 pounds to fight him, but he got dominated. Start of that fight to the finish of the fight. That was I'll still go with the Floyd whooping over the Bivol whooping, but that Bivol whooping was not that far away from the Floyd Mayweather domination that he had on him back in 2013. Then you take that the next few months of September 2022, he did not look that good against Triple G in the trilogy. He had the fight. He was cruising to a victory within the first to 6 rounds of that fight. And then he let Triple G get back into the fight and narrowly won that fight against Triple G in the trilogy. Then you look at his fight this past May against John Ryder. John Ryder, somebody that had no business getting an undisputed championship fight against Canelo Alvarez at the super middleweight division at 168 pounds. I say that with all due respect, but John Ryder was made for Canelo Alvarez to look good in his homecoming fighting in Mexico. A guy that he should have really knocked out in the 5th round, went all the way toe-to-toe with him for 12 rounds. Canelo Alvarez won that fight by unanimous decision, but John Ryder had a broken nose, got knocked down in the 5th round, was brawling in the pocket back and forth with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo was supposed to put this guy away early in a showcasing in his home country of Mexico, ended up going 12 rounds with a guy that had no business being in the ring with him that night. And I say that again with all due respect. And now everyone wants a piece of Canelo Alvarez after he signed this 3-fight deal with the PBC Promotions. He's on a 3-fight deal. After this fight with Jermell Charlo, win or lose, he has 2 fights to still fulfill this contract. And the PBC, Al Heyman and company it's like a monopoly row of fighters that they have right now. They have the best of the best would sign with their promotion right now. So there's a lot of fighters that Canelo Alvarez can fight after this Jermell Charlo fight. Guys like Terrence Crawford want a piece of him. Guys like David Benavidez want a piece of him. Earl Spence Jr. wants a piece of him. There's a lot of guys that are calling out Canelo Alvarez that would not do this years ago. And they see the weaknesses in Canelo that I've been seeing, the flaws in his game that I've been seeing in his last 3 outings. So that's why I say This is very important for Canelo Alvarez to win this fight. He's under the most pressure to succeed because let's tell the truth about it. Jermell Charlo is stepping. He has everything to gain but nothing to lose. He's stepping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's a fighter at 154. He's surpassing the division at 160 pounds. Climbing up 2 weight classes all the way up to 168 pounds to fight Canelo Alvarez for undisputed championship fight. He has the chance to do what one man in boxing history as a male has done, and that's what Terrence Crawford did, becoming a 2-time undisputed champion in 2 different weight classes. And that's what Jermell Charlo has the chance to do. High risk for a higher risk for a higher reward. That's what Jermell Charlo is doing. And if he loses this fight, he goes back to 154. He's still he's going to be a unified champion. Like I just said, he's going to be getting stripped of his WBO title, but he's still going to be a unified champion at 154 pounds when it's all said and done. What is Canelo Alvarez going to have if he loses this? He loses all 4 of his titles at the super middleweight division. He has to basically fight from scratch if he doesn't get an automatic rematch with Jermell Charlo if he loses this fight. And people will question how elite he is if he loses this fight against Jermell Charlo, who is climbing up 2 weight classes to fight him. And it's hard. I'm never going to take anything away from what Canelo Alvarez has accomplished. To me, he's one of the greatest of all time. And his record speaks for it, his resume speaks for it, his accomplishments speak for it. But the Canelo Alvarez that I'm seeing at age 33 is not the Canelo Alvarez that I grew into the sport of boxing watching. Like, man, this guy has the potential to be the greatest ever. Man, this guy is one of the greatest of our generation. Man, this guy is greater than so many greats that I could think of off the top of my head. I don't feel like that right now for Canelo Alvarez. I feel like he's very vulnerable. I feel like he still has a lot to prove. And I want that for Canelo Alvarez to step into this fight with everything to prove. I want that hunger, that desire, that passion, that fire in your belly to prove that you are the best of the best in this sport. And I got to see it because Canelo Alvarez, if he has a bad performance, I think he's going to... I'm already on this fence if he's running out of gas in his gas tank. I ain't counting him out. But if you lose this fight against Jermell Charlo, it's going to be a world full of pain, a world of hurt for Canelo Alvarez, and that's why I feel like he's under the most pressure to succeed compared to Jermell Charlo, who has nothing to lose but everything to gain. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off, and I'll see you guys on next week's episode.